Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Franz. I'm the founder of Country Community Honor, and I'm here speaking with Darren Helton. He is running in California's 11th District for Congress. He would like to unseat Nancy Pelosi. Darren, please tell us why you are running.
Yeah, I'll take it one step back. Unseating Nancy Pelosi, this is something I find a lot. And actually, someone told me this. So I'm walking on the street and they're like, oh, yeah, like you're not going against anybody. You are going for a seat that we elect. There's no one's seat, right? This isn't a dynasty, it's a democracy. So if the people of San Francisco want to change, if they want to do that, go for it. If not, hey, there's the door.
Yeah, it's just most people think Pelosi basically is guaranteed going to be the one going to the general, and with how California is, you may be going as her opponent. It could be Democrat versus Democrat, Democrat versus Republican, but how do you think you fare going against Nancy Pelosi in a general?
Yeah, again, I'm not going against anyone. And the reason I'm saying that is not some sort of metaphysical, oh, like the seat is there for the voters to choose. And if you look at the records on the FEC, FEC site, you'll see that Pelosi's only spent roughly 5K, right? Just the bare minimum to kind of get through that line. What I believe is going to happen is she's probably going to try to set up her daughter to go do X, Y, and Z and then have all those connections. Fair enough. Hey, go do what you want to do. Doesn't bother me. I'm not going against anybody. I'm running for a seat. Now, there are other candidates that I've seen, Sycott in particular, who's raised a lot of money on, from what I've seen, seems like a really nice guy. Again, DC outsider. Hey, maybe you have really good ideas. Awesome. What I did on X was I called out Sycott, I called out Bernie, and I called out AOC. And the reason was it wasn't just like, what do you got? What are they doing to change the actual system that we're in? And what I've realized, and I sent you that first draft of the introduction of the book. We can definitely get into that later. These people are just effective enough to not be effective, right? They're in our government as those people, and it's great. They have great ideas. I'm 100% down. For example, Bernie, I wrote him in when Hillary. Nobody wanted Hillary except Hillary and those in power, right? So what I'm doing with this campaign, regardless if I get voted in or not, what I want people to understand is this is BS and we can do whatever we want. We don't need to wait for someone to tell us. We don't have to wait for anything. We can just do it, right? Now, Pelosi has done really, really well, right? She, not in terms of the funding or whatever, I don't care about any of those connections. She did a really good job, right? She has her legacy. We have a road named after her in San Francisco. I thought that was only for people who passed away. Anyways, short story long, let's take a few steps back. Pelosi's done a really good job, and I salute her 100%. Now, what I'm doing with my campaign and what I'd like other people to do across the globe, not even just America, not just San Francisco, I'm talking everything. That's why I'm going for Congress. Throw me into the mosh pit. Now, let me take a few steps back. So, I have a friend out in Florida, and I'm just asking questions. I just ask questions from people because I know I'm not the smartest on X, Y, or Z. What I know is that there are smarter people than me to do X, Y, or Z, right? And so my friend in Florida was like, you know what? Maybe we should have, the retirement age be the cap on anybody in who's elected. That's a really good idea. Who else has ideas? I was talking to a finance guy randomly on the phone because some other stuff. Anyways, I was talking to a finance guy on the phone. And I'm like, hey, what would you do differently? You're in finance. I just ask questions because I'm curious. And he's like, first he wasn't, and then he opened up. He's like, you know what? I have a great idea. Why don't we have your Social Security go into your 401k directly and then you have control over it? Oh my, I never would have thought about that. That is a very good idea. How do we make government move as fast as our technology? We have regressed while technology has gone just out of control. And I know that from personal experience because I was in R&D for AI. I know where we're going. I've seen it, and it is absolutely terrifying. I don't want to be running for Congress, right? You're like, whoa, whoa, Mr. Helton. It's not that. I don't care. Take the learnings, do whatever you want to do with it. I would rather be in Okinawa with my family eating sushi and sitting on a beach. Wouldn't we all? Sometimes we have to step up and do the right thing. And so the reason I'm running, regardless of all the stuff I share with you about power, what my ideas, I don't have any policies. People are like, whoa, whoa. No, no, no. I have principles, right? My one principle, the only thing that I ask people, don't hurt other people. That's it. And mind your own business. If somebody want, like, for example, I have friends, right? I think I do. Anyways, I have friends, and they call me the Congress. Hey, Mr. Congressman, as a joke. Some of them are libertarian. I don't care about Democratic, Republican. I don't care because for this reason. So they sent me a video, and it's a guy driving a tank on his property. What do you think about this, Mr. Congressman? I don't care. Is his city okay with it? Are his neighbors okay with it? Great. Go have a good time. Doesn't bother me. That goes for everything. Mind your own business and just do the right thing. Don't hurt other people. That's it. End of story. Anyways, I've been talking for a long time. Pass it back to you.
No worries. This is here for you to spread your message, talk about whatever you want, let people know why you are running. I mean, you are the one trying to run for Congress. One of the things I'm curious about is you say you have no policies or whatnot, and you wrote in Bernie over Hillary. You have libertarian friends. Do you like the approval rating for like the Democrat Party as a whole is terrible? There seems to be no leadership. Do you identify as like a Democrat yourself? Do you agree with like the party as a whole? Are you one of the people that supports them or wants to see them go to different direction? Or would you just not care about the party at all?
So I'm running as a Democrat. That is a very good question, and it's incredibly charged as well. So I need to be very careful how I answer this or not. I can go with what I've been doing. So before I go answer that question, during my tenure in tech, right, I'm super deep. First, the big data
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it might have cut out.
is two things. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we cut out for a second. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, I switched ISPs. So I'm on Monkey Brains finally. Thank goodness. Comcast. Anyways, that's a whole other conversation. So what I realized during my tenure was it's very difficult to do the right thing, especially when you're going to hurt other people. And so I was watching a few of your other, of these the interviews you've done. And one of the questions was, why do you think you should run? Number one, I don't want to. That's a really good sign, right? Number two, I have been tested to do the right thing multiple times in my career. And what I realized was full transparency and being out there and honest and open is the only way to go against, if you want to call it evil or whatever. It's not evil, it's just power. It's all about power. Anyways, going back to your question, do I think I'm a Democrat? Yes, I do. I really do. So my first voting was during the Obama era. I was very excited about that. And I put up a sign in my dorm and I was like, Obama, great. It was my first kind of foray into politics. And my roommate, who we had a huge falling out, put up a John McCain sign and threw mine away. That was my first, wow, like politics really, bring people apart, like for no reason. And so I do see myself as a Democrat. I don't think there's any leadership at all because all the people that are in there, let's go back, the hot topic, the Epstein files, right? I'm not going to go super deep into it. I don't care who is in those files. Put them in jail, lock the door, and put them away. Anybody who abuses a child ever, done in my book. Why? We all know why in our hearts, and no one is strong enough to do that because they have all these connections that will disable their own power structure within their community. We know this. The Democratic Party needs not even the Democratic Party, Republican, Libertarian, all the Aryans or whatever the heck they're in there, whatever. Regardless of that, what I believe is that two farmers, one a Democrat and one a Republican, have a lot more in common with each other than their party representatives. And we also know that.
Very true.
It's pretty simple. And call me out too. If I'm off on anything, please call me out.
No worries. I'm just curious. You said you are a Democrat. How do you feel about Trump? Because right now, a lot of the party per se, is anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. I completely agree. Criticize him when he needs to be criticized. Praise him when he does something correct. But what do you, as a president, how do you feel he is? Is he someone you would work with? Is he someone you would just butt heads with constantly? How, if you were elected to Congress, how would your relationship with the president be?
Yeah. There is something, you have to find common ground with people, right? And the only thing that I've agreed with President Trump is the cane sugar and Coke. That is the only thing. I 100% agree with that. It tastes better. Let's get it going. I'm okay with that.
So you're more like Maha than MAGA, you would say.
No, I think President Trump is a child and all the people that are helping him do, because we know he's not the one pulling the strings. Really, There are a lot of people and forces at work that I'm not going to name because of gosh knows what libel or whatever. That is all true. Short story long, the more they tear things apart, like the Department of Education, I went through foster care. I went through the system. The reason I'm running is also because of every person who ever helped me get to where I am today. I owe it to them and I owe it to our country and I owe it to this world as a species. That is it. And so when you talk about Trump, I'll work with anybody. If you're willing to have an open mind, the thing is, I'm going to be incredibly transparent and people aren't going to like that. They're really not. That's about it. So yes, I will work with anybody who's willing to have an open mind and open heart and use facts to do X, Y, or Z. And the reason I talk about destroying, the Department of Education, which I went through as a person, right? Student loans helped me get to where I am today. With that being said, I envision it more of like Europe during World War II. Everything they destroy in Washington, like, the Department of Education, go for it. Because the more you destroy it, the more we can rebuild better. All this stuff, honestly. So my great aunt, her and her husband, they voted for Trump twice. And I'm going to go off on a slight tangent here because it's really important for everything that we're going in this country. So what I believe, at least. Before I was in foster care, they helped raise me, right? They got a bit elderly, so they couldn't fully take care of my sister and I. It is what it is. Fair enough. They did what they could. They taught me how to use cameras, right? They had turtles as a kid. They took care of me when they could. Now they voted for Trump twice. And I was so angry. I'm like, how could you vote for someone who was not only a felon multiple times over, 100%, let's just put that aside. I don't feel comfortable even sharing photos of my son with you because I can't agree with that. I took a pause. I did go a little hard on them, took it back. Cause again, I know they're good people. They have good hearts. And I started thinking on a higher level and I'm like, why did this happen? Well, because I was so involved with tech and making money and getting ahead, I didn't care about my family as much as I should have, right? So back in 2016, when all this stuff started, we all thought it was a joke. We should have been talking to our families then to really let's have a discussion and let's actually put all this stuff on the table. So, and I have another family member who voted for Trump. All good. She's incredibly intelligent, right? We had this conversation. And I'm like, I don't care which politician you are. Most of them are very corrupt. Even Obama. After all the stuff that happened, really? Dude, really? You didn't? Don't even get me started on that. He did what he could. Fair enough. And I still love him for what he did. At the end of the day, all these people are trying and they're doing the best they can. Unlike some people we may or may not have in office that are being empowered by other people who are literally using us for X, Y, or Z. And I say that because, fill in the blanks.
So I just want to go back to the, you mentioned Trump being like a convicted felon multiple times. I know a lot of people have an issue with that because the charges, they were upcharged. He was charged with the same basically crime 34 times. Do you actually know the in-depth charges of the 34 felonies?
I've skimmed them. I've not gone super deep. Let's take that, throw it out to the side. Whatever.
No,
let's
I know.
say
I
he's
was
not
just
a
going to
felon.
say, like, one of the issues people have is because one party, the Democrat Party, upcharged from state level, like state charges to federal charges, and then used that as basically, hey, look, we can push that he is a felon. And then the other side is they're kind of trying to play those games now with the Republicans saying, oh, look, they did this to Trump. We can now do this to the Democrats, and it's just causing a lot of problems. So I was just kind of curious, how do you feel with them actually? They're doubling down on Trump's a convicted felon, but it's more or less made up charges that anybody else besides Donald Trump would have gotten a slap on the wrist, $250 fine. How many times has Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, any of these other people broken FEC laws, and it's literally just slap on the wrist, nothing happens. Trump does something, 34 felonies.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I like what you're saying. Let's just put all that aside. Let's just say everything is fine. Because I get what you're saying. On the other side, they're trying to do X, Y, or Z. When I say that side, my side, I don't agree with that. I don't think a lot of other people agree with that. Right. So when you talk about a jury of your peers, why aren't we actually doing that? The American people don't have any sort of say into what's going on at all. No. Congress is now a mascot. It's a joke of what the original founders believed it should be. Is that a fact?
I 100% agree. I mean, Congress should be about people. Both me and you, we probably disagree on a lot of things, but we probably can agree on many things. And what the founders wanted was, hey, You guys agree on these things? Let's work together on what we agree on instead of trying to fight each other constantly on what we don't
Yes.
agree on.
Yes, I agree with that. And,
Yeah.
a lot of what I was working on with my research of the book was, 80% of people, and I can cite the source later, 80% of people agree on the same thing. Yeah, I want a safe place for my family. I want to be able to be happy and get ahead on meritocracy. What we don't agree on as people, and I say we is the people of the planet, of the country, of this city, is how to do that. Again, we can get there if we have a commonality. And I think the commonality is we want to do the right thing, or we should have that in mind.
Yeah, like one of
So
the
I'm actually curious. Oh, please.
well, no, I was going to say one of the big issues is right now, and you mentioned it too, is basically healthcare. Like
Oh,
that should be something everybody should, okay, let's work on at least the bare bones basic. We should be able to afford basic healthcare for every citizen here. That should be something that on left, right, middle, whatever, our politicians should be working on, but instead we're funding billions of dollars in foreign wars or trillions of dollars paying off the interest for the debt every year, and nothing is actually getting done to solve any of these issues.
yeah, I agree with that totally. And so, yes, do I believe that there should be some sort of universal health care? For sure. We know it's so expensive because there's so many middle people in the like taking a little bit off of each little, transaction that's happening. So for me, when I think about power in America specifically under capitalism, and I don't care about capitalism or whatever isms or whatever parties, I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, we will find people who are a lot better with this stuff than you or I. We'll get them in a room, a bunch of eggheads, excuse my language. I love you guys. You know what I mean? Put them in a room and what do you guys recommend? And this is how it happens. So before I put my name into the ballot, right, or on the box, I was walking my dog. And there was some article about 2.2 million gallons of water wasted in California. And, California, we're really crazy about our water, especially went to Chico State, always droughts, right? Like we lived it, it was right there. And so I asked a guy on the street, I was like, hey, was that a real article? Because again, news, the media, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to ask this person who's literally working in the water department what they think. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that was real and this and hetchy and this pipe. And I'm like, whoa. And I had an epiphany. This person and all of their coworkers know what to do. And then I started asking random people at PG&E, what would you change about the system? Everything. It's corrupt. What? I didn't know that. I want to hear from them, not their boss, not their boss's boss, they all stand to gain something. People on the front line. That is it. Let's have them tell us what they think. We will then vote on it, and then we will do it or not. It's very simple.
I completely agree with you, but I think the main issue is getting that message out there to the masses. And that's what you're kind of competing against right now, running against, say, Pelosi. You're not really, as you say, you're not running against her. You really are actually just running against the Democratic establishment. Even if you were running in a district against a Republican, you'd be running against the Republican establishment. And with with the billions of dollars they have behind them, it's really difficult to push your message out there to the masses. So how do you feel are your chances? Do you feel like you have a good chance of getting your message out there to the masses so they can vote for you?
Hmm. Yeah, if they want. So I used to do digital marketing. I'm not sure if you looked at my LinkedIn. I ran the Gap account, so millions of dollars every month, X, Y, and Z. So yeah, in terms of marketing, I'm not worried about that. I really don't like the platforms that are out there now, right? But I want to take a few steps back. So we talk about Republicans and Democrats. I was talking to a friend of mine, a close friend who's at my wedding, and I was telling him some of these ideas. Hey, let people govern themselves. Let's have local community leaders rise up, right? That's the idea of Pebble, right? And they were like, I don't really want to talk about this. I don't want to ruin our friendship. I'm like, what are you talking about? I know you. I trust you with my life. So, eventually we met in person. We started talking. What I realized is he's a Republican. Okay. All your ideas are valid. I want to know the truth and go deeper on those. And if it's right, let's go do it. I will change my mind if there is actual scientific evidence to back up what you're saying. The one thing, and as we were leaving, this is what they said that really pissed me off. This is disappointing. He said, if it doesn't bother me, I turn a blind eye. He said that to my face. That is not the country that I believe we were growing up in. That's not the country. When I look around, that's not what Americans are. We see something, we say something, we try to do something, right? We at least got to try. And to have someone just say, hey, that's the entire country right now. I got to get mine before someone else hurts me. No one's going to hurt you. Slow down. Think for a second and then move on. We got to start talking with each other. We got to stop fighting, regardless of where you are. Really. So in terms of getting that message out, hey, you know what? I've barely even getting started right now. I have a startup I'm working on that. Again, it goes back to, well, why are you doing that? Is Congress is still my number one. The reason I'm working on the startup is I found something in the market that is needed. And given the sensitive nature of the data, I only trust myself to do that because I've been tested and I'm not greedy. I do the right thing always, always, regardless of how much the amount of mental stress I've had to go through with my family to even do this, to run. Are you kidding me? This is something that breaks families instantly. My wife is asking, am I going to be okay walking on the street? What? This is America. Absolutely not. We don't do that. We help each other. Anyways, I'll pass it back to you.
No, one of the things with, you mentioned your wife, will you be okay? The mental hurdles you have to go through. I've worked on a congressional campaign before in my district, and one of the things
I was reading that
personally saw was they actively try to slander, lie, everything about you. So how are you going to be able to handle that? Like with especially mental health wise, dealing with your family, like them hearing these terrible things about you plastered everywhere. So how are you going to be able to handle that?
Transparency. So when we talk about doing the right thing, I have put my entire career on the line multiple times to do the right thing. And what I realized was being transparent and open about everything is the only thing you can do to protect yourself within whatever the heck kind of society we live in now. And so if anybody has any issues, if they like literally, oh, Mr. Helton, ping me up on X. I will make a video. I will give you the explanation myself. Don't listen to anybody else. Get it from the source. That's about it. And so even the stuff that I haven't done any videos yet because all the cryptographics I want to add on those to make sure that they are genuine. I'm also doing that too, right? It's fully thinking the entire process because right now, working so deeply in AI and doing research in it, people do not fully understand what is about to come and what is already happening. And it is absolutely terrifying.
And that's one of the things, I know I've mentioned it on X and posted about it, but I have an issue with a lot of people like Pelosi in office who are in their 80s, who they have no clue what AI is. They barely know how to use a smartphone. Like they are completely checked out of reality. They still live in basically the 80s. And so these people are making our decisions for us. And yet you're saying AI is extremely dangerous. There's all these things that it could do. We don't know what it can do. If you are in Congress, how would you be able to even convince some of your colleagues, these 70, 80-year-olds, to join you on figuring out how to deal with AI?
That is a very big question. So AI it's as dangerous as it is helpful, right? It's like guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Fair enough, whatever. With that being said, AI is in a very delicate spot where people haven't fully caught on to what it can provide. And so those who know how to go deeper and use it effectively can use it for very good things. They can also use it for very bad things. And so in terms of what I would do with colleagues, if, going to Congress, if I'm elected, is sit down and talk with them and make them understand what the heck is going on and how it could impact and will impact their constituents, right? And then also getting to the people. So the other reason, San Francisco may elect me as the voice of San Francisco, right? Going there to Congress, I want to be thrown into the mosh pit because those people, when I see them do whatever, reminds me a lot of when I was growing up and I was abused, right? The same tactics. And I will not stand up for any of that. End of story, no matter what it costs.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot. This was just meant to be a quick interview conversation.
Oh, yeah.
No worries. Just get your message out there. Talk to people who are trying to run. Help you spread your message. if there's anything you'd specifically like to share, please do. Please announce it. Your
Well, I'm
website.
curious too,
Oh
real
yeah,
quick,
go for
before
it.
we, yeah, I'm curious too. You said there are some things that we may not agree about. So again, in transparency, the reason I'm doing this interview is because I want to learn from you, right? You're talking to a lot of these people. You care about this country. What do you want to see changed?
Honestly, I'm more of the milk toast fence sitter type person. Like I can lean multiple different ways. I'm mostly in the center. What works best for everybody should be what we're trying to do in Congress.
Mm,
Like when it comes to, okay, closing the borders or working on illegal immigration or what right now, okay, if that's what the majority of this country wants to do, if it's supposedly an 80% issue, that 80-20, like we need to close the border, we need to deport a lot of these illegals, why is this not an 80-20 issue in Congress? Like,
yeah.
that this is where it should be, even if it's like, again, this is not something I necessarily agree on, but hey, my constituents are saying this is what they want. Why are our politicians not being the ones to follow through? And it just
We
causes
know
so many
why.
issues. Well, yeah, we know, especially with all the constant funding wars, the constant raising debt. They're just skimming off the top. All their family and friends, their NGOs. It's an absolute mess, and we do need more people like you who are willing to be transparent, who are willing to just talk and have conversations with people and try to figure out what will work best for everyone. What is the best solution? And once we find it, let's implement it.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, and one last thing that I wanted to discuss was, it goes back to the Dunbar effect, right? The 150 groups, back when our ancestors before agriculture, if someone ate a poisonous berry and did not tell the other people, they probably died. So
Mm-hmm.
now we've moved into this society that's only 10,000 years old since agriculture, and we're still trying to figure things out, right? Now, what I envision using technology for is this one simple thing. So voting, right? Voting is very important. We talk about it all the time. Voting, it's your right. Okay, got it. Why does Target give the day off for Easter, but not for election? Why do all corporations don't? Why can I not vote online? I can go to Beijing, which I've been. I went around the entire world. Every government knows exactly where I am. I can't vote on my home soil. Are you kidding me? Really? Really? I'm tired of the BS, and that's it. I have no policies. I have principles. Don't hurt anybody and mind your business. Well, I guess that's two. That's pretty much it. And as you're saying, I completely agree with you. Let's get together, let's figure it out, and let's move on. The world is already so hard. Life is so hard already. We don't need all this other stuff. And the reason people feel so tired right now, in my opinion, is because not only the generational trauma that we've all had to burden, right? Vietnam, we know it was fake. Really? Osama bin Laden, we almost had him. Are you kidding me? We know this. There's also one more piece of trauma that we're shouldering, and that is every single person who ever hurt somebody for a dollar. Every one of us in this country shoulders that burden for them for no reason because it is the way it is. I'm done doing that. We all need to be done doing that. We need to use common sense, talk with each other, and that's it. There was a person I was talking to who was anti-vax. Listen, I believe in vaccines. The science supports that. If you want to go do whatever you want, like, but please don't, you probably should. Anyways, started talking. And I was like, no, 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 no. I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to ask you the same question. Would you kill somebody for $1 billion?
No.
Exactly. That's it. That is the one question, and you're done. Many people who are psychopaths, there's a new sociology called ponterology that came out through the pandemic. It is a study of psychopaths within our society. It's roughly 1% to 2%, right? A little hand wavy, but it's there.
I was like, I
We know
believe
who
I've
these
heard
people
about
are.
it. Majority of them seem to be in Congress.
Yeah. Let's just all those people, right? Now we talk about the Dunbar effect. I'm going to bring this back. So my wife is Japanese. And I asked her, I was like, how come you have no crazy billionaires over here? It's all just so calm and quiet. Why do people like Japan so much? It's the concept of wa, right? The nail that sticks up gets hit down. Now, our son is half Japanese, half American. I want to mix those together where he needs to be creative, but he needs to respect the people he lives with, right? That's why we like Japanese society. They are still using the Dunbar effect. Their society corrects these abnormalities, these psychopaths that live in our society. And in America, hey, capitalism, go make your money. Why? What's the point of that?
Well, one of the things I've seen before is, I believe it was talking about Japan, but it was talking about a successful society, and it was a sign of a successful society is when the billionaires also take the train to go to work.
That's a really good one.
Because
and a lot of Japanese people do that.
Yeah, and then it just reminds me of Kim Kardashian here in the United States, where she literally flies from one side of LA to the other side of LA in her private jet because that's the easiest way for her. And it's just,
you know what? And again, do I agree with that? No, I don't agree with that. Again, if the city and the country and the state, they're okay with that, go for it. I believe, regardless of everything we talked about, the reason I'm also running, I've already told you several, on my homepage, when I open my browser every day, is the NOAA, right? The temperature that's happening right now. Climate change is still happening. It has gone absolutely bonkers since the pandemic, and we know this, right? We know it's hotter. It's undeniable that it's happening, right? And so regardless of what we're doing or what we're bickering about, our species is on the line. We're reaching that 2%. That is no turning back. This is a fact. The data comes from these big measurement things that NASA uses. The same people who sent the rover to Mars, same people, right? Same technology, pop it in the ocean. This is being measured all the time. We know it is a fact and no one is doing anything. So instead of dropping bombs on people, or better yet, having world leaders who don't give a crap about anybody else but themselves, as we've talked about, the reason nuclear warheads exist is because of the other people. The Russians, I know Ukrainians, they're good people. They're people like us, right? Let's dismantle the warheads because we're not going to fight, and let's go build nuclear freaking power plants for India so they're not burning coal. Let's help each other out, right? Going back to Japan, my wife is from Nagasaki. We go back there and I can see the particles coming in from China. And a lot of Japanese are like, it's coming from China. I can see that. You don't think the Chinese people know it too? They have their own ppm measurements. They're also pissed. This is ridiculous. This has gone out of control. And now we have enough information and data to make the right decisions. And no one can get together because they're worried about losing theirs. Guess what? There's not going to be anything left. Literally, it's so simple. What are we doing? Anyways.
I'm sure we can just, so far, I'm sure we could just talk about anything and everything from now. But before it keeps going any longer, announce basically your website, where people can find you, and we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, sounds good. VoteHelton.com, Vote Helton on my social media handles. And then, anybody can email me at Darren@VoteHelton.com and I'll get to you when I can.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Christopher. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.